For them, they think that by the virtue that they used to be players, it's going to be automatic. I got a number of mentees that I have in different countries, in Zimbabwe, in Tanzania, in Zambia, who are now upcoming coaches. I always sit down with them and say, trust the process. Because for them, it's like today, after I finish this, I'm supposed to move into there's a transition that is supposed to happen. I remember speaking to one of my mentees this other day. He said, yeah, okay, Meda, I want to move into teams. I said, what do you want to do? He said, maybe into fitness, maybe into different. But I said, fine. The process is very, very important because most they don't go through the process. They think about coaching the day or the week or the year before they retire, which is a problem. Because remember, I'm telling you, this is a profession, this is a skill. We've got people who are having degrees, masters, and etc., who are into the same industry like us. But the issue is, it's not about only those qualifications. There should be a specific skill that have to be developed. There should be a process that an athlete should go through before they tend to become a coach. You don't automatically become a coach. No. You might go and say that I'm achieving results and whatever, but when you come and sit down, we meet with some of your coaches when they come for calf badges. And you see that there's a missing link that has to be put by you. You wonder why when they come to some of our courses, when they come back, they look at you differently. Because we have given them the information that is very important for them to have an effective technical team. There are a lot of duties that we're going to share concerning a fitness coach. What the fitness coach is supposed to do, supposed to know. Actually, the fitness coach is involved in the whole process of high performance. But if you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the skill, and you have the pride. So number two problem is the pride. The pride that I used to play, I used to run, I used to have the same kind of thing. Remember, I was an athlete at collegiate level. So there's a moment when pride was all over, I thought that I knew everything. There were people who were willing to help, to assist and everything, but I thought I knew everything. I went up to a certain level where I reached a platoon in terms of that particular area. But with time, with experience, you begin to learn that I was the problem. There's need of someone who can be able to manhandle you, to mentor you, to move with you. So opportunities, they come. But the opportunities, they can't be due to connection, networking, and people know you. Whenever an opportunity comes, never despise the ability to keep on learning, continuous learning, getting skills. It is very important for you. Even after you start attaining purpose, I'm talking about the process. I'm talking about the process, which means number three, it is also the attaining of knowledge. There are people who calls you and they tell you, coach, I want to retire next year. I want papers now. One of the things of our program on major sports, you will never go for 3 days and get a paper. If we meet for 3 days, you go digitally. We have one of the best digital platforms for coach education in Africa. You would go for minimum 3 to 6 months learning there. You have to prove, you have to do assignments, you have to submit them, you have to show that you're doing them. You have to be competent about with the use of the modern day tools. Then we say, okay, you're qualified. We have a number of people who couldn't finish our program. Why? Because they couldn't go through the process. Because we don't want people who don't go through the process. I know when we were starting years ago, we wouldn't go through much of this, but we discovered that most people that we are raising, they were looking for papers. They were not looking to develop that particular specific skill. And their riding skill, when they go back, when they come to school, they're not going to use that particular knowledge. They are going back to what they knew, because what they only want is the paper to be competent to sit on the bench or to join a team. But what they want is not the knowledge. So we've been moving to make sure that all those that we'll be dealing with as we come in 2020, 2026, we come to that particular empowerment to change, to transform a person from being, but there are differences. For example, the habits. That's another one. Habits. What are the habits? What are the habits of a player in comparison to the habits of a coach? Remember, most of the habits, when someone transitions directly from there to there, they have a lot of pride. Because remember, when you get now to that particular level, your remuneration changes. If you were a top player, you were earning, let's say in African setup, most setup, maybe $5,000, and you start moving into a fitness coach. Remember, you're still a student. They can take you down up to 1.5 or even 8,000 or less. But remember, because of the spending habits, because also of that particular pride that I'm whoever I am, I've been playing this, I've been earning this for years. But what were you earning for? You were earning for performance at that particular time. But the industry that you're transitioning into, you are still an amateur. But that pride that I used to play, but if you check now, most players who come and become fitness coaches, they were lazy. I've dealt with many. You're trying to work with the player, they are trying to show up different sides. Then you meet them in a few years in class, they are saying, I don't want to be a fitness coach. I ask them, you, with your attitude you were giving me as your coach by then, do you think you'll be able to help these other players? Because they know your attitude. Sometimes you're part of the boycotting in terms of the training laws and everything. I'm not saying that fitness coaches are always correct. Neither am I saying that coaches are always correct. Why? Because even you go to the hospital, doctors are not always correct. They practice, but they learn through practice. But you have to learn now also to submit. So if you cannot submit, you think that by the moment you say that I'm becoming a fitness coach, they can submit. They will never do that. Arrogance, rudeness will never get you anywhere if you are to become an elite strength and conditioning coach. Because there is need to understand that when you go there, you are submitting and you are learning. And it's an opportunity that you manage to get. So if you confuse that particular opportunity to learn and you think that you are at a certain level, I promise you, my friend, you will totally fail in that particular industry. Another key reason, before I conclude, I don't want to make it too long. I don't want to make it too long. Let's make it the last one. Another key reason is because you guys are not sure of what you want. If you want to coach or you want to be a strength and conditioning coach. What do I mean by coaching? Yes, it's coaching, but you now rebel against the head coach. You base on the weakness of the head coach. Because sometimes when the coach calls you, the coach trusts you, and you know certain weaknesses that your coach has before. So sometimes you do like you want to overtake. Because remember, the trust that you've been built, they brought you in. So most of you, former athletes, former footballers, you can't submit to the coaches. We are actually in the process of where we encourage all our strength and conditioning coaches and the fitness coaches to also get badges. If you're in athletics, you get the IF badges. If you're in football, you get the CAF badges. If you're into rugby, IBF, etc. But not the reason why you are supposed to take those for the sake of understanding so that you can be able to complement also the vision of the coach. But most of you, when you get those papers, you get hot-headed. Yet you don't even know the foundation. You didn't go through the process of from transforming from being a player into becoming a coach. Now they give you a team, you start struggling. You wonder how. And you destroy the name that you've built. But the most important thing, you have destroyed the trust that person has given to you, an opportunity that they have. Like what I always say, it takes networks and connection to get an opportunity. But wait until the teams now begin to get challenges. Relegation follows, injuries follows. A number of things happen that are supposed to be addressed by you. It's also a warning that I'm giving to coaches that when you bring those people to become fitness coaches, see how competent they are. They might be your boy, they might be your friend. It's better to make them just maybe another something that is not directly involved to performance. I wouldn't want to mention specific title within the technical bench because I'll do as if I'm undermining certain areas. But remember, the foundation of how your team is going to play, how they're going to do, is dependent on the fitness coaches. So those who want to transition now from then to becoming fitness coaches, make sure you get information. Make sure you are knowledgeable. The world is for the knowledgeable. It's not guesswork there. It's not a jiggy jar there. There should be information. A lot of information for high performance to come. So I challenge you, I urge you, because this coming year, each and every week, we'll be sending a lot of these insights. Remember to subscribe to our page. Remember also to like. Remember to share. The objective is to transform an African player to a coach, an African coach also to become a brand. We'll be speaking about how coaches can turn into brand because we've seen a lot of coaches struggling beyond. Remember, I wrote in some of my books, Sports Entrepreneurship Guide, Volume 2, I wrote that coaching is a thankless job. You're only valuable when the team still wants you. But you can go for some years working, but you can be fired at any time. I've seen coaches being successful, they are fired, but they don't have investments, specific investment that have made. They haven't made themselves into brands. We also be speaking about how this can be done, how coaches can also become brand. And as well, one of the most important things that we'll be doing in 2026, we'll also be visiting different schools so that we can start speaking to kids while it's from school until they move into university in terms of career pathway. We'll also be speaking to those in universities. Definitely, I'll start with my own university, the National University of Science and Technology. I'm going to meet sports science students sometime this year so that we sit down, we talk, and etc. We see how best we can be able to help each other, because we cannot just go and do be sports scientists so that maybe we can only be able to struggle to get like an opportunity. There are vast opportunities that have to be done, but unlocking is needed. Thank you very much for having time with us. And remember, like, share, subscribe. We want to reach 1,000 subscribers very soon, because we want to make sure that we'll be sharing this information each and every week, at least 2 times. And also remember, we have upcoming electronic performance and tracking system masterclass in Zimbabwe. Never be left out, because we'll be touching insights of what is happening globally in terms of the in terms of the use of technology in the fourth industrial revolution, and how you can be able to transform. It's not only going there and becoming the head coach, being the fitness coach, there are a lot of opportunities that are out there. Thank you very much. Have a very good day, and remember to subscribe, share, like. Keep on doing that and share amongst all your peers, former players, the coaches, and everyone. We'll promise that we'll be sharing these at least 2 times a week. But this year, I think before the year ends, we'll give at least maybe 4 to 5 videos. Thank you very much. This is Nyasha Charandura from Major Sports Innovation Hub. Adapt, evolve, and lead. Thank you.